Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Palmetto Cats Live, where we unpack the anglers of YouTube. It's my honor to have Mr. Spencer Bauer, a River Certified YouTube channel, in the house tonight. What's up, man?
I'm enjoying the conversations we've been having before you turned on live, and I think the rest of it should be pretty fun too.
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish off that conversation. So I was asking Spencer about his wife. She's getting her doctorate, and he said molecular biology. So tell me what she's working on.
Well, to get to the point, like her study right now is on the gut-brain axis, and she's getting mice drunk. It's the thing. So she feeds them alcohol, and it's not like force feeding. They voluntarily ingest it for a period of time, and then she collects their poop. And then after the time's up, she cuts their heads off, takes their brains out, then looks at their brain to see if there's any physical or chemical changes, then analyzes the stool samples to see if there's any change in the microbiota of the intestines.
Now, do you ever get any free bait out of
that? No. I guess the idea had never even occurred to me till now. So, I mean, that might change.
Hey.
Could make a video. But the mice are really, really expensive. So, and there's probably like some regulations on disposal. So that might be an issue.
Gotcha. Well, I like to give people shout outs when they come in. I'm Mike Sampson's, Mr. Sampy's in here. We got Fishing with the Chad, Mr. Gadget, Maurice Case, Mike Greenwell. A lot of YouTubers coming in. Hooked Catfish. All right. First time he's ever been in my live stream. We were just talking about you, man.
Hey,
Kentucky,
John, have you ever wrestled? Are you a wrestler, John? We were wondering about that.
Yeah. Where's he at? Right here. You ever wrestled, buddy?
Oh, no.
River cereal. What's that about?
Worse things than that.
Cool. Well, we got my wife is in here. Hey, honey. She's in the next room. She was making pesto earlier, and she wanted to get it done because she had to emulsify all kinds of stuff. But she's done with that now. So let's talk about your YouTube channel. Man, I was just watching a bunch of your videos because you put out a ton of stuff. And I was watching one, I think it was your live feed where you were flathead fishing live about a year ago in your aluminum boat. And you had talked about, I hope I get to 10,000 subs. And now you're up to 30K. What does that feel like?
I mean, the only reason, and this was a year ago, so I don't remember the entire context of saying that, but the truth of the matter is I don't really care about the amount of subs. I'm just having fun doing this, and the fact that people want to watch the videos and enjoy them makes it even more fun. I wouldn't say I'd make 3 videos a week if nobody watched them, but I'd definitely keep making videos even if people decided like, this guy's an idiot, I don't want to watch him. And I mean, if they think I'm an idiot, they're probably not too far off. Like for real, the editing thing is just too much fun not to do. I like writing, I like building stuff, and I like making videos, so that I don't ever see that changing. If people want to keep watching, I would appreciate it though, because it does make it a lot more cool.
Yeah, it makes it more fun when you have people that actually are interested in what you're doing. I'm kind of struggling with that right now. So since you're on that, one of the things that makes your channel fun to watch is you have a ton of commentary where you're talking to yourself or talking to us or just talking in general or whoever you're fishing with. So does that come natural? Do you always talk to yourself, or did you have to train yourself to kind of talk to the camera?
Well, people get worked up about talking to a camera. I just say what I think. Like I'm not by myself talking to myself out loud without a camera there, but I'm talking to myself like in my head. And that's the kind of commentary that runs through my mind all the time. That's just a little peek inside my brain, and I'm just sharing it out loud for a camera. So, I mean, that's just me. Like if you think I'm goofy and weird and some people find it funny and entertaining, that's just me. If you ever went fishing with me, that's what you can expect.
So you talk to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. just not out loud. Like I'm a crazy person, I'm doing it in my head.
Tim Molina says if there was a master class on flathead kayak fishing, Spencer would teach it.
I don't know about that.
He is a teacher, though. He's a science teacher.
But it'd be a short class. It'd take like 2 minutes probably for me to share everything I know.
We got the yak pack in here. So I got a bunch of friends that are kayaking bass fishermen, and I get some of them out on the boat catfishing sometimes, and they pull in fish that would eat their whole bass. But they always tell me, they want to catch catfish from a kayak, and so I've always recommended, before I found your channel, I always recommended Justin Johnston Kayak Catfish, and then now I recommend your channel. So there you go, John and Justin and all of you guys in here. Go watch River Certified, and you've almost got jerked out of that kayak a few times.
Well, I mean, catfish are pretty mean individuals, but just go back to what you're talking about, Justin, though. For those bodies of water that you're fishing, his channel and the information and stuff that he passes along is very directly transferable. Where I'm at, I'm not saying if you want to watch my videos, but if you're looking to learn something that applies to your fishery down there, Justin and kayak catfishing is definitely where it's at. And as far as getting ripped out of my kayak, I don't know. I mean, flatheads, they're meaner critters, and then in the environments I have to catch them, which is really close quarters. Yeah, I mean, when you're 5 feet away from the fish and it makes a big surge, yeah, I mean, there's a lot more power there than if he's 50 feet under your kayak. So I suppose there's that.
Well, and then the other thing is that I like, you have your Chesty Mount, and whenever you hook one, you can see like him like jerking your arms. That's pretty cool, man.
I mean, those big head shakes, and they have that big flat tail, which isn't necessarily sustained power, but the power within the short bursts that they generate's pretty impressive. And they make that surge and then throw those big head shakes. And yeah, each, 30, 40 pound fish, every time it moves its head, it's moving it a foot or so, and the rod's going oof, oof. That's all directly transferred into the fishing rod, especially when you're using braid. Braid don't stretch at all. Yeah. So you get to feel all of it, which is part of the reason I like braid, because I enjoy feeling that part of the fight. And then also because of the lack of stretch, you have more control over the fish in thick structure. Because if you're using mono, you pull it a foot and it stretches, 6 inches, and that means you only move the fish 6 inches, not a foot. But if with braid, you move the rod a foot, and then you move the fish a foot.
So is the braid, like using that heavier braid, is it really hard on your reels? Do you think it's harder on your reels than mono is?
Oh yeah. I'm fortunate that I know how to repair all my stuff. Like,
okay,
I've been using Abu Garcias forever, mainly because Doug Stange and the In-Fisherman dudes always push Abu Garcia, and I was like, if Doug Stange uses that, I got to use that. So I've used them. I got my first one when I was 12, because my grandma was like, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, I want an Abu Garcia 5500. So she got me one from Walmart back when they sold them at Walmart, and I still use it. So that would mean it's almost 20 years old, still kicking butt. And I've been, I've had to repair it a few times, but I can do that because I've had them and for so long.
When you like to build stuff, you like to take stuff apart.
I do, and they get taken apart and cleaned every year, and it's a project. But to me, it's worth it to keep those reels around. But if I end up doing the guiding thing, I'll probably end up going a different route than Abu Garcia, because I've seen what having multiple clients and the damage they can do to a reel. And there are reels out there that are definitely more durable from that standpoint, but a well taken care of Abu Garcia is just a pleasure to fish with, at least in the ways that I do.
Miss D said, I watched a video of you climbing out of the kayak on a tree branch to get the fish. Awesome video.
You got to do what you got to do to get the fish sometimes.
Tim says, I like your sense of humor and that most of the time you get mine. But what I really like is that you respond to your subscriber comments. And you were kind of talking about that a minute ago.
Well, I do it because it's fun. Like Tim, honestly, if I'm missing your sense of humor, it's just because of that loss of context for speech to speech. I'm sure if we were talking to each other face to face, I'd catch it. At least I hope I would anyway. But as far as responding to comments go, I think it's fun because we're talking about fishing or joking around, and I like both of those things. So I'm going to respond to as many as I can for as long as I can. And if I don't, it's not because I didn't want to, it's because I just didn't have time. I wish there was more hours in the day so I could do more stuff like that.
Yeah, Justin just stopped responding to his, and he started doing live feeds because he said he couldn't keep up. You know, I guess with 70,000 subscribers, it gets tough.
I wouldn't know, but I can imagine.
You're getting there, buddy. PD Fishing says he needs to do another video of them pulling that kayak down that mud road.
I don't know if I built myself back up to that point. Like, that video does not even, it's just the tip of the iceberg on how much that really sucked. Like, it was the video, it took 3 minutes to pull it down the road. Real life, I think it took closer to an hour and 3 minutes to pull those down that road. Because we would get stuck and hit like potholes. We'd have to go around stuff. I about tipped my kayak over a couple times. And that would have sucked because I would have spilled all my bait everywhere. Yeah, it was just a mess. It'll probably happen again, though.
Well, with the rivers you fish, man, I mean, it's bound to happen.
Right.
Spencer, if you could afford any kayak, what would it be?
I'm fishing in it. You know, those new canoes, they meet all my needs. There's bigger, better kayaks out there, but not for what I do because they're stable, but they're not so heavy. I mean, they're not light. They're not like 30 pounds, but they're not 130 pounds like some of those Hobies and stuff are. Hobies are sweet kayaks, just not for what I do. Like, I couldn't imagine hauling a Pro Angler 140 down that road. I'd still be pulling it down that road right now. But a new canoe, Frontier 10, if I could only have one, that's what I'd have because it's lighter. It's still really stable. It's still got a 500-pound weight capacity, and it doesn't weigh 100 pounds. I think they're 63, and that's pretty manageable.
All right. You got someone saying that Spencer's awesome. His knowledge has helped me fish small rivers around me. So there you go. There's some positive feedback. Hooked catfish. How many baits do you – go ahead. I'm sorry.
Those are my favorite comments because like, I enjoy hearing about me helping somebody catch more fish or bigger fish. Like, that really does make my day. So if anyone has had that happen and they haven't commented that, please comment that.
Come on, we still got to make your head fit in the screen, man.
Oh, that's fair.
How many baits do you typically bring with you?
Well, I don't catch as many fish as John does, so I don't have to bring as many as he does. But usually 15 to 20 for an 8 to 12-hour trip.
Gotcha. So you do a lot of camping videos, and especially like during the summer months, and you haul. It seems like a ton of gear. But tell me, is it really that much? And I guess it's worth it because you keep doing it, and people keep watching those videos. So tell me what it's like loading in and loading out all that gear.
You know, it's not as much as it looks, like, for real. And as far as it being worth it, I mean, I've done that for a long time. And the fact that people enjoy watching it, I'll keep putting it on video. And I guess if people don't enjoy watching it, I'll videotape some other part of it. But I mean, all I got this little compact cot, a little compact tent, the sleeping pad, sleeping bag, and a pillow. And they're all like hiking stuff, you know, like something someone would backpack with is what I take with a kayak. Then I have a bait cooler, and then like a beverage cooler, and that's really about it. You know, I have my fishing stuff, and that's about it. I have a camo bag that's kind of got, you know, odds and ends type stuff in it. It's just a dry bag. But there's really not that much that goes with it. My chair that I take with me is my kayak chair. You know, it comes out of the kayak. I sit it on the dirt, and that's where I kick back and relax till I get a bite or go to sleep. And you
eat a lot of food.
I do. That's probably the most difficult thing to pack for. But
you eat a ton of food. Like, you know, are brats your favorite food? Because you eat a lot of brats.
No, it's more of a convenience thing.
Yeah.
Like, is what it really boils down to. Brats are easy. You grab them. They're easy to cook because they're already cooked. I'm not exactly a prime chef or anything like that. I'd like to do more catch and cooks, but the way that I catfish, it's honestly, when I go flathead fishing, you're fishing in areas where it's tough to catch channel cats, and you can't always bank on a small flathead. And usually when you get them, it's like midnight when you don't feel like cooking anything. And then the sun comes up and you got to get rolling to do other stuff during the day. So it makes it tougher to do that. But brats are convenient. And it just happened to be the last few people I fished with bratwurst with them. But there'll be a video coming out. I haven't decided if it's going to be tomorrow or Thursday, where we get a pretty exquisite dinner going in the evening.
Like a Luke Nichols dinner when he brings out the peppers and the steak and all that stuff, like that kind of meal?
No, but better than bratwurst.
My brother says he wants to see a video with me in a kayak. Well, he already knows the answer to that one. Not going there.
Any kayak that you would feel at home in, it'd be one of the ones that I have.
Oh, really?
Those New Canoe Frontier 12 just feels it's pretty rock solid platform.
Awesome.
Yep.
Jeremy's got another compliment. In all honesty, I've caught more flatheads in the last 2 years because of watching River Certified. I take what I've learned to the small rivers, and it's paid off. Well, I'll tell you what. Go help him out. Go get some merch. And this logo, we were kind of talking about it. I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Arrival, but it's basically about aliens that come visit Earth, and I won't spoil it for you, but they use kind of like a text system to communicate with Earthlings, and this looks like the circle around it looks like the text, but Spencer's assured me that he did not steal it from that movie. In fact, you've never even seen that movie, right?
I haven't. It is a Squarespace logo generator template.
Maybe they ripped it off.
Maybe they ripped it off from the movie.
Michael Murillo, a fellow Iowan. Is that what y'all are, Iowan?
Yeah, we'll take it. Or my favorite is Iowegian. I don't know what's politically correct, but either's fine with me.
Well, Michael Murillo is a fantastic supporter of all YouTubers and anglers, and he's from your area, West Des Moines, Iowa, Valley Junction boy here. Where are you from, Spencer?
Well, first off, Valley Junction is the home of my favorite Hawkeyes Cubs establishment that I enjoy watching Hawkeyes games at. I'm north of you. I'm actually from Southern Iowa though, like Melcher, Dallas, which is this little itty bitty speck. Like all Iowa is a small town, so it's just another small Iowa town. But Melcher, Dallas, Iowa is where I'm from.
So, how did you get hooked up with Whiskerseeker? Are you like a pro angler, or do you just use their stuff? Or I couldn't find anywhere where like your name is like on a banner head or anything like that.
Well, I'm part of their, I guess, Elite 8, if there's a term for it. And it's not something that gets big time advertised, and I'm cool with that. Like, there's no, like, well, hold on.
I'm kidding.
I don't brag about like pro staff stuff. There's people out there who do, and more power to you. I don't think talking about being pro staff makes me cool. I don't think it's something to aspire for, so I don't ever bring it up. As far as the Whiskerseeker thing goes, it's just been super beneficial for both of us and I lucked into it 100%. Like my buddy Denny Ransom, he's got his own YouTube channel. It's called Float Fish Adventures. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's definitely worth checking out because he does a lot of the same type of stuff that I do on mine and catches some really big fish. And they reached out to him initially and they asked him if they knew anybody else who kayak catfishes, and he dropped my name, and then they contacted me and him and said we would like you to promote our product. And I said okay. So it's been great for the last 3 years. It was like right when I started doing YouTube, and like I said, I won't say it's anything I did. I just got lucky.
I think it's awesome. They made a good choice. I always, I'm not sponsored by anyone or pro angler or pro staff or whatever you call it, but I do enjoy seeing good people, or what I believe to be good people, representing these products, because it makes me as a consumer want to use that product more, because I see that good, wholesome people are using it, and they're not like you said you never really mention it, which is why I couldn't find it. And they don't really have it advertised. So not on the website anyway. So, just because you use the stuff a lot, I've seen it in your videos, and, I've seen your videos at the Catfish Conference. You refer to we. And so I just assumed, your Whiskerseeker staff, pro staff, whatever. So I think it's great, man. Your Whiskerseeker, I use their scale and their fish grips and everything. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just not a bragger. Like, people give me crap, like, "Oh, your head's so big," and all this other stuff, and I don't get it. I just go out.
I was making fun of you.
I've heard it enough where I'm just wondering what I'm doing where people would think that.
I don't know. Maybe it's your confidence. I don't know. Like when you go out and you know where the fish are, and people are people. We were talking before, like about work, and people. That's just how the world is these days. So I wouldn't really look into it, man. I think you're very modest, which is again, another reason why I started watching your channel and Chris Souders. I had him on a couple weeks ago. Just modest people that catch fish and have a good time doing it.
Maybe it's just because Denny says I have a big head all the time. But it might be because I pick on him all the time. So there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah, I can't help that.
That's fair. That's fair.
So is he the one that fell out of the kayak the other day?
No, that was Corey. He's a dude who I met recently. He runs JB's Fish Sauce, and we might be doing a collaboration of sorts. So been doing some product testing on my end for a product that he put together, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited about it. I'm not a gimmicky person.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to scents, I feel like, especially catfish, there's a lot of like catch the fisherman, not the fish type deal. And I kind of want to develop a scent that is actually legitimately helps. I'm not anticipating it to be head and shoulders amazing, because that's not reality, but to create something that genuinely gives you just at least a little bit of an edge, I think that would be something marketable and beneficial to fishermen. And preliminary results for the last couple months have been pretty promising, at least with blues and channels. Flatheads don't seem to give a crap about it.
I often argue that, scent really doesn't make as I don't even know if I believe that blues react to scent, to be honest with you, because I feel like they're more of a sensory fish. Some people
I don't know. The data supports that they utilize every sense. They have, and taste is a big thing too. Like, smells underwater are not the same and don't function the same as smells in air. They're both fluids, but how that they're monitored is often similar to taste. And at least channel cats, and I can't remember blues, but channel cats, and I'm sure blues have similarities, but the channels have taste buds covering their entire body, primarily focused around their gill plates and their lips. And through that, they can taste things that they bump into. They have some on their barbels. You'd think the highest concentration would be on their barbels, but it's actually on their gill plates. So I'm assuming as they have water run through their mouth, through their gills, they're tasting that water as they're breathing it. And then that helps them hone in on whatever they're looking for. And scent definitely plays a part. Taste plays a part. Vision plays a part. And then their lateral line and sense of vibration plays a part. So if you can take advantage of all of those, you can call in more fish. And it might not be like night and day difference, but if you catch 5 instead of 4, or if your buddies catches 2 and you catch 4, twice as many, especially if you're a tournament fisherman, what if that one was the one that gave you that extra inch that you needed to win it?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, spoken like a true teacher and a science teacher at that. Like, it makes total sense. Like, that scent isn't the way we think of it in the water. So you're teaching us all something new, man. Or maybe you're just teaching me something new. Maybe everybody else already knew that.
I don't know. It's a possibility, I guess.
So do you enjoy the remote location? Like, I don't know anything about Iowa, the waters in Iowa, but I know what I've seen you fish, and it's some pretty, what I would consider some sketchy waters. Sketchy is relative, loose term, because I fish in an ocean basically. So tell me about your waters and what you're looking for when you go fishing out.
Every water has its own dangers as far as sketchiness. I mean, you get a 10 to 20 mile an hour wind on Lake Moultrie and it looks like an ocean. You have some big waves kicking up, and a 10 to 20 mile an hour wind where I'm at has almost no effect. It's still going to function the same way. Now, as far as getting caught on a log sideways in current and getting flipped, that's a possibility something I could run into and you would never. But I will say the majority of the places I'm fishing aren't near as secluded as they appear on camera.
Okay. That's kind of what I meant. Like, where are they? Are they near highways or?
It's really hard. It's not like the West. It's not like Colorado where you can hop on a body of water 20, 30, 40 miles from the nearest road. A lot of these streams have roads running right next to them. The biggest issue isn't that you're in the middle of nowhere. It's you're in the middle of private property. And to get access on private property or to find public property is tough sometimes. And lots of times like in Iowa, the water is public, the land is private. And then there's a few places that are public. But lots of times the reason I kayak is because I can float through these private lands on public waters and access fish that nobody from the bank is going to get to. So it seems like I'm in the middle of nowhere, but lots of times, almost all the time, I'm within 400 yards of a road.
Okay. And so, like, do you have somebody at the end to pick you up, or like, do you go with somebody and one of you parks at the beginning, one of you parks at the end?
If I'm with somebody, we shuttle like that. We throw all the stuff in one vehicle. We leave a vehicle where we're going to stop, and then we motor up or drive up to the start and then float down. If I'm by myself, I'll paddle upriver. Or there's a few places that I have public or private land access where I've knocked on someone's door and asked them if it's okay if I dump my kayak in. And I've been yelled at a few times over that, but it's never hurt my feelings to be told no or be called a bad name. So
that was my next question.
I just keep knocking. Like, so somebody calls me a bad name. Oh no, I'm gonna, it's not like they beat me up. So if they want to call me whatever or just say no, like, you can tell me no, I'll let you tell me no. If you don't want me out there, it's your land, you have every right. But I'm gonna make you tell me no.
Hey man, ice fishing looks terrible. Like, it's something that I just would never ever wanted to do. And you kind of mentioned it before the show. Like, I just look like your typical Southerner with the tan and I just couldn't do it. Is it as terrible as it looks?
Dude, it's honestly kind of addicting. Like, really? In a variety of ways. The way it just depends on how you go about it. On a nice day, nice for winter standards, you're talking like 30 degrees, no wind, sunshine, and then you have a hut set up with a heater in it. Yeah. So within the heated shelter, it's like 60 to 70 degrees. So it's really manageable in there. And then you can walk outside and fish outside. And on the worst days, I have a heated insulated enclosure. So I'm fishing in this hut that's like 65 degrees and fishing in there. And it's just a cool feeling in that hut to be sitting on top of water, fishing right at your feet in a comfortable temperature, and then catching fish sometimes. I think that's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the most effective ice fishing is mobile ice fishing lots of times. That requires you being outside. But if you ask me, there's no bad weather, just bad clothes. And I got a true ice suit this year. And I've been wanting one for a while because the insulation floats. So it acts like a life jacket if you were to fall through. And just the comfort, like how comfortable you are in an actual ice suit when it's cold out, just is kind of mind blowing. It really is. Like, it sounds like it would suck, but if you have the right clothes, it's pretty nice.
And maybe that's my problem. Like, You said 30 degrees. I thought it was colder than that. I was
Well,
thinking,
I'm saying that's a nice day.
oh, okay.
Like there are days where it's like 0 and the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour, and you're like, why am I out here? But once you get the shack set up and the heater rolling, then it's like, okay, whatever.
So I'm one of those people that, like, when I'm indoors, I like to be chilly, like cold. When I'm outside, I hate being cold. Like, I can't stand it. But you're right. I bet you that ice suit was pretty expensive though, wasn't it?
Well, I'm fortunate that I got it used. I have a lot of stuff, and some people comment like, how do you have all this stuff? It's because I save up some money and I'm patient and I wait for a deal. Like, I don't need it now. So I've been wanting that ice suit for 5 years, and I didn't buy it until the right deal landed at my feet. And I got it for a fraction of the price that I would have if I would have got it new. And then I can justify it.
What does like a brand new one cost?
If you bought a new one, it'd be $500 to $700.
Goodness gracious.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. Like,
I'm sure it's worth it.
Well, it's only worth it if it is. Like if you're in a situation where you're in Iowa where we don't have like a real ice season. Like in Minnesota, they have a definitive ice season for like 4 months out of the year. Where up there, to me, it's definitely necessary I guess either way you look at it, it could be necessary because it's going to keep you warm or it's going to keep you safe because it floats. And if you're on, I used to think 4 inches of ice was kind of sketchy, but 4 inches of ice is honestly plenty. The problem is when you get into variances where it's 4 and then all of a sudden it's 2. But I have a spud bar now, so you can hit the ice with the spud. And if the spud busts through, not to go there. But if it doesn't bust through after 3 good hits, you're fine. And I found that holds true.
Do you think it's a lot more work to ice fish than it is to do what you're doing like during summer?
It's not even close. The only thing that comes close during the summer is that kayak. Small stream kayaking is so much work. It's hard for me to think of it as work because it's so much fun. But if you want to talk about actual effort involved, yeah, ice fishing's big time effort. And so is that creek kayak fishing.
Michael said, Iowa born and raised looking for a deal, but now I'm getting older. So I just buy whatever I want when I want it.
Dude, that's cool, man. Like there ain't nothing wrong with that either. If you got the money, spend it how you want and spend it on something that's going to make you happy.
That's right. And, those of us who are like really into fishing, we tend to be into other things too. And what I've had to learn is that I have to cut back on the other hobbies or get rid of them altogether so that I can get better equipment fishing because that's really my passion.
Well, I mean, it's all balance with everything else. I mean, you got to find a balance between your hobbies. You got to find your balance between your hobbies and your responsibilities and just a never end. And then you got to find your balance in time, balance involved with your hobbies and then time spent with friends, family, or taking care of all the other responsibilities you have. Like that's something I'm constantly struggling with all the time. And I feel like I'm getting better at it, but that just depends on who you ask, probably.
And you led into my next question. Like your wife has to miss you, man. I mean, you're putting out 3 videos a week. You're constantly camping. Like, is she just working that much and you guys kind of meet in the middle, or do you she knows that, hey, this is the season where he's going to go camp a bunch?
Well, it's all about how do I want to word this? She's busy, don't get me wrong, and has things that she has to get done. And she works better when I'm not around. So that's a positive on her end. But when I am around, it's all about her. Like I'm diving in 100% on spending time with her. And I mean, I guess I'm not perfect on that, or at least that's what I shoot for anyway. And that seems to make a difference. And just to be transparent in the fact that, yeah, I might not be at home, but I'm thinking about you. And then when I make plans with you as the number one thing in my mind. Like we'll make our plans to do this, and then I will plan around that to make these things happen.
That's awesome. All you fellas out there hear that?
Not saying it works for everybody, but every relationship's different, I suppose.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we went out on the boat today, and she likes to. My wife Anna, she likes to fish, but not as much as I do. But she just likes being out there. So we went out and fished, and then we ended the day with going out in the middle of Moultrie and just diving in. So that kind of refreshes you. But
Right.
yeah, it's all. You're right. It's all about balance, and as long as you put the super important things that you can't live without, like your wife and your family, and your faith, everything else will fall into place. You're absolutely right. So do you hold any videos back, or are you, let me give you a preface. So being in education, I never know when I'm going to get to fish. So I kind of like, when I have a video, I keep it like scheduled, like once a week. Unfortunately, I don't get out as much as you do. But do you ever hold them back for the off season, or do you have an off season?
I definitely hold videos back, and my wife and I actually talked about how we could make the schedule for everything work once school starts. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we're still working out. And, back to planning things together. We're planning that together. I have probably 10 trips. No, I have about a dozen trips that will become video that are not up yet. I actually probably more like 15.
Wow.
Like 15. But what happens is it's not even so much time, but during the winter, it gets dark so early. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, we have a half hour to an hour of daylight once school's over. So to be able to get on the water during the winter is really tough, at least during the week. And then during the weekends, you sneak in a morning trip, an evening trip, whatever. But the fishing isn't nearly as productive during the winter. Going up fishing and then having a good enough day where you turn it into a video is tough to come by. So yeah, I save footage, and I try to save as much as I can for the winter, mainly for that reason. And I do make a few trips, and then this next year I'd like to make a few more trips to make my time more efficient, because like Iowa fishing in December, pretty slow overall. But if I were to go to a cooling lake and chase blue cats, the possibility to get 2 videos out of one trip is better. So I'm going to hope to do that a little bit more this winter.
And I did notice that, like, your last 2 videos were one trip. You did the fishing where he fell off the kayak and you pulled out a nice fish, and then you did the camping trip, and you just put that one out today, I think. But so I think that's cool, and you've kind of inspired me to do kind of like an overnighter. But I'm going to wait till it's not 103 degrees to do that.
Those aren't necessarily the best times to camp. It's definitely the best time to night fish, though, when it's 103 degrees out. But the daytime stuff will wear on you.
Yeah. I think I'm going out tomorrow night just to say my dog's coming under the table. How's Woody, by the way?
He's chilling. He's just busy being lazy. He's pretty good at that. And people ask me why I don't take him fishing that much. He doesn't like – him and hot weather don't get along. Actually, him and any weather other than a climate-controlled indoor space don't always get along. So on all-day floats, he wouldn't do very good. Ella and I were talking about we're going to go camping probably within the next week or two. And if Ella goes, Woody definitely goes. So they'll both make an appearance when that happens. Assuming we catch some fish, which seems to be a problem when I take Ella. It's like, I don't know what to do. Never seem to do well when we go fishing together.
Oh man. Does she like to fish?
She likes to be outside when the weather's nice. The fishing, she can take it or leave it. She likes to see the fish because she's a science nerd and she thinks it's really cool, which I get that. But as far as the act of fishing, that's not really her gig. I got her biggest catfish is like 37 pounds. She caught a 37-pound flathead a few years ago, and I thought that might be the thing that got her hooked, but nothing really changed. She did smile ear to ear holding it, so that was cool. But as far as eliciting a passion, no, and that's okay, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anna's done the same. She's pulled in probably about a 30-pound blue, and like you said, really excited about it. she likes bobber fishing for
Who
bluegill
doesn't? Who doesn't?
more than anything else because it's constant action down here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but her passion's gardening, so yeah, I get that. So I was told to ask you what your most memorable catch was.
Ooh. The first one that comes to mind is my most memorable non-catch, and was on a video where I lost a giant right next to my kayak and cried on camera, and you couldn't tell because I had sunglasses on, thank God. But yeah, my most memorable catch
one, actually.
Yeah, and the one where everyone likes to comment, "Dude, get a net." Like, well, every single person who's commented, "You need a net," has never tried to net a catfish in current from a kayak, because as soon as you dip that net in the water, that thing's catching all kinds of current. It's trying to rip you off of whatever you're tied off to, and all of a sudden your stable kayak is not very stable, and you're swaying, creaking, wiggling, and about ready to fall out of the kayak while you're trying to hold this 60-pound fish out of some brush. Like, yeah, it don't work that way. But yeah, that'd be my most memorable one for sure. It sticks out.
If you had a net, you'd have to have a giant one, and then storage is a big deal too.
Yeah, but I mean that's even secondary. Like, if I thought I could if I thought a net would actually make me more likely to land that fish, I would deal with the storage. But the fact that it doesn't make it worth bringing it along, because it does take up a lot of room. But honestly, the biggest thing, when you drop that net in the water and you got 3-mile-an-hour current coming by, all of a sudden that's a dangerous situation in a kayak.
That's the guy who asked me about to old Redbeard.
Old Redbeard. Old Ryan? Redbeard. Yeah. He's a good dude.
When I put him up on there?
I do. Yep. Ryan said he was going to come out and fit. Ryan and John said they were going to come out and fish with me, and they never did. Hurt my feelings.
So you fish with you have a lot of people that come out and fish with you. Are there like regulars? I know Denny is one, and you got Pig Patrol, Josh. Does he come out with you?
I wouldn't say people come out to fish with me. Like, it's just we go fishing. Like, me and Denny's just a fishing buddy, and we just go fishing. Like, he's the one who got me started doing YouTube, kind of. My wife bought me a camera because I talked about doing it, and Denny had his channel started. So I started doing my little video thing, and all my video questions I asked him. He's kind of a tech guru. I mean, he's an IT guy for a profession. He knows computer and editing software, which isn't directly related to his career, but he knows his way around a computer, and he's been doing video editing for 20 years. So to have him as a resource was super sweet. And then Josh, like, I went out and fished with Josh in Nebraska, and they have a tremendous flathead population out there. I will be back to go there. It just makes me realize, and I hate to say this, just how bad Iowa fishing is. And like, I've had I've been fortunate this year as far as fish being caught, but every time I go somewhere else, I realize like how low the state of Iowa ranks compared to states in the immediate vicinity. Like, Nebraska is better, Minnesota's better, Missouri's better. I mean, it seems like everything around us is just better.
Yeah, but I would venture to say that because you're good at what you do, like, I mean, you had a kid come from across the country to fish with you, didn't you?
Yeah. That
was awesome.
And that was just a deal where I've had people ask me to take them fishing, and I'm just like, all right, get a hold of me whenever you're serious about coming up. And they never do. And then this was the same deal. I said, all right, when you're getting serious, get a hold of me and we'll make plans. And then they got a hold of me. And then we scheduled a date, and I figured it would still fall through like every other one. And then they said, all right, because they're from Phoenix. And then like 2 days before, they said, yeah, we flew into Des Moines. Where do you want us to meet? I'm like, holy crap, that's actually going to happen. So I took them out. I didn't charge anybody money. I'm not insured or anything like that. But I figured if they're going to fly all the way across the country, I feel obligated to take them out then. And they were they were great people. They really were. And it was a lot of fun. And that was kind of the deal that confirmed I should start guiding. I've dabbled with the idea since I was like 12, growing up to be a fishing guide. But as far as Iowa goes, it's all small water. And that water, if it's overly pressured, I think it could be really hard. It can be really hard on it. And that's what's kept me away from guiding. But the more and more I look at fishing and fish behavior, and the more I look at it as a pattern versus location type deal, like your best spots vary based on time of year, water level, etc. And then the spots you target change based on that. The more I think that I can guide without giving away too much where people can take advantage of the waterways. And then hopefully I can, help instill the importance of conservation in those small waterways. Because flatheads aren't blues. They don't roam around. They're not constantly on the move. And if you give something up, you can burn it forever. And that could actually impact the population of the rivers pretty substantially.
Yeah, it just seems like, when you go up to those log jams and like you catch a flathead out of there, like when you put it back, you're pretty certain that they go back there and they stay there, right?
They probably went back to the exact same spot they came out of, because you drop your bait down, you get it close enough where they respond to it and they move over and they eat it. And when you let them go, they're going to go right back to wherever they started, guaranteed. Now, where they start, though, changes based on water level and time of year. And that's the part that I feel like I'm getting better at. Will I ever be perfect? No. But that's part of the fun, Like I think of fishing as a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle where the puzzle pieces change shape. And if you pattern it well enough, you can figure out what shape that puzzle piece is going to be in. And if you remember where it belongs, then you can put it in there at that time. But if you don't ever pattern it, you're just guessing. You're just guessing.
Yeah, that's something that I'm bad at. I guess a lot.
Well, everybody does. Some people get better at it just because of experience, and I document everything, and I think it really makes a difference.
Like, so you keep a pad and when you catch stuff? Well,
I have it saved on my phone. I use Google Sheets and create a logbook on Google Sheets. That way I can fill it out while I'm out there. And then if I ever drop my phone in the water, I still have all that information on my Google account.
Has that ever happened?
Teacher right there. Yep. Yes, it has happened.
So this live video that I watched, was where I got most of my questions from, and it was a video from like a year ago, and you even said yourself you're not even really sure what you said in it, but like you talked about saltwater fishing a lot. Tell us about your experience saltwater fishing.
I got ate up with it for a long time. When I was in college and had no responsibilities and just enough money to do a little bit, I spent a couple summers living in South Padre, and then made several trips to the South Texas coast, and then made several trips to the Florida Panhandle, and all in the name of catching sharks off the beach.
Oh, sharks. Okay.
That was the main focus, but then I'd do other stuff along the way. You're always fishing for bait, and bait can be, well, with sharks, it's anything legal to put on a hook. And even in Florida, you can use shark for bait in Florida. So sharks would be bait lots of times. And there was just all kinds of, the ocean's crazy. I mean, the bait we would use fought harder than almost any freshwater fish, flatheads included. A bull red, compared a 20-pound bull red, you tie a 20-pound bull red to a 40-pound flathead tail to tail, and that bull red is going to tow that flathead all over the place. Like, it's not like they're just mean fish. Mm-hmm. And then you start talking on the level of tarpon, start talking on the level of jack crevalle. It's just like, holy crap. And sharks, pound for pound, don't fight very good. They really don't, but they get huge. Like a 100-pound fish is going to fight hard because it's a 100-pound fish. But, the ones we fished for I always dreamed of a 1,000-pounder. It never happened. The biggest fish I ever caught was probably 350-ish pounds. Mm-hmm. I caught some bull sharks over 8 foot, caught some lemon sharks in the 8 to 9 foot range, 300 to 400 pound range for both of those. I hooked some fish that were totally mind blowing. Like I got spooled one time on a Penn Senator 6/0, and I got spooled in less than 30 seconds probably.
Wow.
The reel was smoking. My forearm touched the star drag, and it left a pretty substantial burn on my forearm. I'd show you, but you probably can't see it on camera. You can't really see it on there. But it was just something to see. I had the clicker on the reel, and the reel didn't sound like the clicker was going. It sounded like a weed eater. It was just like, wow. Yeah. Just imagine a weed eater.
Yeah, offshore fishing is huge here. You know, man, I'm right on the coast, Charleston area, so I just can't afford it. Like offshore fishing is so expensive, from the gas to the boats to the gear. Like when we were thinking about buying a boat, I even contemplating buying a center console, but then even the smallest one was like more than the pontoon boat that we got. So, yeah, I do a lot of small saltwater. I used to do a lot of small saltwater fishing, you know, bluefish and spot-tail bass, red drum, things like that. But man, they get into it out here. I actually have one story where I'm on the Folly Beach Pier, and I just had just one of those little short, stumpy, stiff offshore rods dropped straight down off the pier, and we had some mullet on there, and it sat there all day. And long story short, something just took it and ran to the beach. And like you were talking about, the smoking reel, ran to the beach, and as soon as it got in shallow water, it turned towards the pier, went under the pier, and broke me off under a reef. So, I get that feeling. I just wish a catfish would do it to me.
Well, the expense is the reason I just fished off the beach, and you get it. I mean, North Carolina, you're in South Carolina. I don't hear a lot as far as quality of surf fishing from the Carolinas for some reason, other than Hatteras in North Carolina. But the Florida coast and South Texas coast, the quality of fish you can get into just off the beach is kind of mind blowing. And I don't know. I'm with you. I haven't found a fish that really pulls like that. I mean, even that jumbo flathead that I snagged, you'd think a tail hooked flathead like that would fight like absolute crazy. And I just beat him up on a medium heavy rod, and I probably had 20 pounds of drag on him the whole time, but still, that's a 70-pound fish hooked in the tail.
Yeah, I've had some blues like give me a run for a couple seconds, but nothing like that. Nothing where I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do? Like where there's no more drag to set on them. So you really like flavored water. Is that true?
Well, the carbonated flavored water. I don't like the stuff that you pour in the water.
See, that's what I'm drinking, is the stuff you pour in the water. But I pick on my wife all the time because she drinks the carbonated water. And I just think it tastes like if water sat next to a banana on a shelf.
And just osmosis, like the flavor is transferred through there. So I the origin of it. Well, actually, I blame my wife. She bought it one day, and I tried it. I'm like, this isn't too bad. And it wasn't something I liked when I was a kid. It's kind of an acquired taste, but I used to be like that with coffee. I never liked coffee till I became a teacher. Now I drink tons of coffee. Like a rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure. You have to have that, at least that morning cup to get you cranked up. Especially you with teaching middle school.
Well, coffee saved a few kids' lives, probably.
So you have a your biggest or your most watched video is called Epic Iowa Catfishing with 452,000 views. Did you ever think you'd have a video that was up to almost 500,000 views?
I've never even put any thought into it, honestly. I don't really have any goals or aspirations with YouTube. I just keep making them because I like them, and people keep watching them, so I make more. That's about all the thought I put into it. And I'm kind of a person that always wants to get better at whatever I'm doing, just because that's just kind of who I am. So every video I try to make it a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And It's not going to be obvious from video to video, but I look back to the videos I made last year and the year before every once in a while just to give myself ideas on what I should do in the future or what I shouldn't do in the future. And it's kind of mind blowing, at least to me, to see the difference in the quality of the video as far as how it's put together and how I speak to a camera and the energy I bring to the camera. And that's tough for me because I'm not the most energetic speaker. Lots of times I kind of have that dry sense of humor, and to bring out more energy to a camera is something I've had to work on. But I just enjoy getting better at stuff. So
as you have zero goals with YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, goals are good, but I think goals are bad too, because people I look at someone who has a weight loss goal. And then they lose weight, and once they hit that goal, then they're like, well, screw it, made it, going back to the way I was doing things, and then they put weight back on. But if you change it to a lifestyle thing, then it's just sustained and lifelong, and then you keep that going forever. So goals give you something to shoot for, but if you can just make a lifestyle change, whether we're talking weight loss or whether we're just talking about doing something you enjoy, and just make that thing that you enjoy part of your life, and you just do it forever.
No, I like that. I mean, that's cool. That's a cool way to think about it.
There's less pressure that way too. It's not stressful, or at least not as stressful. You don't feel like you have something you have to live up to. You just do it because it's fun.
Right. So one of my favorite videos I stumbled on, and I'll be honest, I haven't watched all your videos, but I'm getting there. You're doing kind of like it was in the middle of winter and it was snowing, I guess, and you were rigging up one of your blue cat rigs. And I guess your wife walks in while you're filming, and she says, "Oh, what? You're teaching somebody to do something," and your face turns red. Do you get nervous filming around her?
Yeah, because I don't want to say judgmental, but she has this way of making me feel like I'm very small and insignificant.
Really?
Well, she if there's anyone who has that control over me, it's her. Like I don't value a ton of people's opinion, and I don't mean that in a condescending way, but I don't give very many people that power. Like if somebody doesn't like me, I don't care. And if that same person likes me, I still don't put much thought into it. There's only a handful of people whose opinion of me is going to change what I'm doing. Good or bad, and I think that helps keep me grounded. I appreciate the kind comments. I really do, but they're not going to change my mindset on how I go about things. And then the same is true for the negative comments. Like I look at the negative comments and I'm like, whatever, but when it comes to my wife's opinion, I really do value that. So when she looks at me like I'm doing something wrong, I feel really stupid then.
Well, it's like one of those times where I hadn't seen that side of you. And like when she walked in and she said, are you teaching somebody something? And you just your whole demeanor changed. And like you had a big bright smile and you said, my face is turning red now. And I like that you showed that because it wasn't a live video. So
right.
That's pretty cool that you put that up there and showed that, you can be vulnerable,
which I figured someone would appreciate it. And the fact that you're bringing it up, it means at least one person did. So we're calling that a win.
Well, I think it's great because my wife and we filmed, I do quick tips once a week. And so I filmed one today and I just had her hold the camera, and I've gotten to the point now where I'll just do it. And if I look stupid or whatever, she thinks I'm looking stupid, she's not saying it. So I just keep going. So I get that. When I first started, she would walk into a room and I was filming something and I just, stop and, hey, honey.
Right. Well, if I ever get to the point where I have a cameraman, it's going to have to be somebody I don't know. Because if it's somebody like, it couldn't be my parents, it couldn't be any of my close friends, it couldn't be my wife, because I value their opinions too much. And I wouldn't be able to just do my thing. It'd have to be somebody I don't know, and I'm not worried about what they think, and then I can just go do my thing. And if I suck it up, I don't care. We'll just reshoot it. Where if it's somebody I know and I suck it up, I know that they're making fun of me, and I'm going to put it together. That it'd be a lot more difficult that way.
So do your kids watch your YouTube channel, your students?
I think some of them do. I don't know if there's any who are like watch every single video. And I kind of did a test run because I told them all that the class bullhead, Bruce, that don't get attached to him because he came out of a bait tank and he's going to go back into one once school's out. And I had this plan to make this big grand video of me taking Bruce out of the bait or out of the aquarium at the school and make it look like I'm kidnapping him. But with the COVID stuff, it didn't really work out that way. But anyway, I said on a video, sorry, middle school kids, Bruce is going on a hook, and I didn't get any comments from any of the middle school kids, so I don't think they watched that video, and that just kind of confirms they don't watch all of them. But they definitely watch a few, or maybe they missed that stuff. I mean, when I was 13, I missed out on a lot of details. Still do. I guess some things never change.
No, we didn't have YouTube when I was 13, so. But I know what you're talking about. Like, they missed that humor. They missed the humor part of it where you were talking to them. I haven't quite reached that threshold yet. I haven't, some of the kids, like, they'll see my sticker on my truck or something, and they'll say, "What's that?" And I tell them. And then I think a couple of them watch it, but I try to separate that. Like my Facebook life on my Kevin side and then my Palmetto Cat side is different. I haven't quite worked up the nerve to merge them together because I have to look at these parents when they walk in, and I'm not always Mr. Serious on the boat.
Right. Well, and that's definitely influenced how I do videos, how I started and how I continue to do them. Because, I mean, in real life situations, I'm not the most PC guy. Like, I swear a lot, that's just kind of who I am. And then I have my teacher filter on. You can't be the same person inside the classroom as you are outside of the classroom a lot of the times. And I carried that over to my videos because I'm a teacher. So it's kind of unfortunate because I can't be 100% authentic, but it might be for the best because I think it makes better quality family type stuff. But
well, and I would have never thought any different of you. And I know we're all not exactly the same people we are on YouTube, but I would have never, like you just told me you swear a lot. I would have never thought that.
It's become natural to have that filter on. It's not that I'm necessarily a different person off camera than I am, but the way I speak and articulate things is definitely different.
Well, coming from me, I personally think it's outstanding the way you carry yourself on camera. Whether or not that's the real you, I couldn't care less because I think on your on-screen persona, like, you represent what a lot of people should be doing out there. They should be making wholesome content that we can all watch and not have to worry about who walks in the room. Yeah. I was just watching somebody's YouTube channel. I was thinking about asking them on the show, and they have a bunch of subscribers. They're really popular. They catch big fish, big catfish, and I went on there and watched it, and I was like, "Holy cow!" I couldn't get it 30 seconds in. Not that I'm, a saint or anything. Like we just said, we're not all the same people we are on screen, but I try really hard to be the same person. So, if it means anything to you, which, I know you say you don't value a lot of people's opinion, but I'm telling you that a lot of people in chat right now and a lot of people that watch your stuff appreciate the way you carry yourself because their kids watch it.
Yeah. And you honestly, you're right. Like, the more and more you talked about it, the more and more I kind of take back what I said, because it's probably a good thing in the grand scheme of things. I wasn't swearing a bunch at the beginning, and I'm not swearing a bunch now. And it's not that I'm a different person on camera. It's just how I articulate things might be a little different on camera than how they would be off camera. I mean, I try to be as authentic as possible. And like I said, if you wonder what I'm like outside of camera and what's running through my head and what fishing trips are like, it's just like on the video, except there's a few less adjectives. That's all that goes along with it.
I really enjoy it. Last question, man, because we're at the hour mark. Tell us about that Cubs hat.
Well, the Cubs hat, that's funny. I never used to wear a Cubs hat because I always thought it'd be bad luck because they suck. Well, then they sucked for a long time. But I said if they ever win the World Series, I'm going to go fishing in a Cubs hat. So once they won the World Series in 2016, I decided I'm going to wear fishing a Cubs hat every day after that. So here we are. It's 2020, and I'm still rocking the Cubs hat. Not the same one, and this one's getting kind of crusty too. The other one's up in the closet. But and I'm sure this one, I'm going to try and get this one to the end of the year, like into the fall, and then I'll probably get a new one after, 3 or 4 washings, and then I'll probably be back to it.
So you're like me, you don't really get rid of hats?
No, I just retire them and then put them on the shelf.
And they just collect dust. I got a few of them back here. Some you can't really see them, but yeah, I can't. Like I got a bunch of catfish, like catfish clothing hats. I just like the logo, and one of them I ended up pressure washing the house with, and got bleach all over it, and it faded it all out. And everybody else would have probably thrown it away, but it's sitting back there on the shelf somewhere. Well, Spencer, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything final words you want to say to anybody out there?
I appreciate everyone who took the time to watch the show. It's been fun. I've enjoyed myself, seriously. And if you ever want to do it again, let me know.
Yeah, and somebody said, we got to do part 2. Later on down the road, and I'd love to, man. We had about almost 50 people in here tonight, which is kind of where I've been peaking out. But I just appreciate you agreeing to come in, and I just appreciate the content you put out. I know that you don't necessarily do it for other people. You do it because you enjoy it, and because people like it. But you really have taught me some things about flatheads that I never knew. And then, you saw the comments in here, man. You're making a difference. And I just want to give you that before we leave.
Cool, man.
And when your wife gets that doctorate, man, I'll help you find a house down here.
Careful what you say. I might fall through.
And a job, man. I can help you find a job. We need a science teacher right now, actually.
I'll take all the help.
I got you. I always end with a prayer, and I don't know your faith, but if you feel led to pray, you can join me. But I'm going to do that right now. Heavenly Father, I just want to lift you up and thank you for Spencer Bauer, Lord. We thank you for everything he adds to his channel, Lord, and how he lives his life and how he represents himself and his family. We just thank you for the lessons he's taught. We thank you for him being a teacher, Lord, and just bringing knowledge to kids and just being a good guy. And Lord, we just thank you for this country where we're able to do this. Lord, I want to lift up all those who are struggling through COVID and all the crazy stuff that's going on right now. It's good to know that you've created something like fishing where we can all come together and just have a good time talking about it. And Lord, we just thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, brother. See ya. Thanks for everybody for watching. If I didn't shout you out, I'm sorry. We just had a great time conversing, and we saw your comments in there. All right, man. Take care.
Yep, you too.